Hello, everyone. This is Dave Warner with Small Town Life, part of the Studio 25 podcast network. And in our kind of continuing series of a lot of political figures coming in and wanting to talk about who they are and what they do, I now have Gerard J. Snyder here with me. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave.
You're in a long line. There's a bunch of other ones that haven't come out yet. So you're running for the New York State Supreme Court.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
But we have elections in Little Falls. We've got 8 council seats, 12 people running. And so 11 of the 12 have been coming through. So it's been a pretty steady stream of people.
Are you also running, did I see?
Yeah, you saw that. I wasn't going to say anything about that because I don't want to plug me, but yeah,
Exactly.
Some foolish thing, right? So, yes, it is.
I'll let you know. This is my first attempt. So.
Oh, my God. All right. So tell me a little bit about yourself. In other words, where
Yes.
did you grow up? And we'll
course.
start with that.
Of course. Easy questions. So,
I know.
Yes.
Wow, I'm not going to. All right. You want hard ones? I can do hard ones.
We'll see how it goes.
All right.
But yes, I came from Troy, New York. I was born at St. Mary's Hospital there, May 5th, 1956, so you can figure out my age. But I was the youngest.
A young guy compared to me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was the youngest of 6 children. My parents lived in Troy their whole lives, and my father was a sign painter. And my mother basically helped my dad a little bit with answering phones and that kind of thing and taking care of the house and her kids. But I was the youngest of 6, so most of the family chose to pursue golf as a profession.
Because I thought you were going to say the law. We were going to go down that path again. All right, sorry.
No. I had an older brother that was a golf professional, actually.
Really?
And my sister was a club champ. My other brother, who's still alive, I only have one other living brother, unfortunately, but that's the way life is. But he's down in Port St. Lucie. He was in the town of Wilton up in Saratoga area, but practices golf. I mean, as a professional, he's really very competitive.
Wow.
So I don't fall into that category. I sort of looked at my brother Donald, Betsy Snyder, Fortino's father, as a role model. So he was a lawyer in West Winfield, and I kind of looked to that as something that I might want to pursue.
I mean, why not golf? Did it just not appeal to you, or chasing that little white ball all over?
I think there was some intimidation. My family were so successful. In fact, there were people in the neighborhood that wanted to see them grow up and move away because they would win.
Oh, wow.
They would win all the time. And so I felt that I would be expected to win at that level, and I just wasn't as competitive and possibly not as good. But I steered away from it, Dave, for whatever reason. I didn't. I love the game. I do play. I played in a Little Falls League here for many years on Wednesdays. So I do enjoy it very much, but I'm not competitive. I just like to have fun.
Yeah, okay.
Enjoy the courses and the scenery and the company, right, that you're with. So.
Well, you could have been a pro, and that's fun, and you don't have to be competitive if you're teaching, right?
True.
So, yeah,
True.
There was a path. So why, I mean, at a young age, because you were looking at other family members, you were interested in the law, or how did that come about?
Well, I, again, looked to my brother as someone that I would like to pursue that type of career. I also thought that maybe a small town might be the right environment. My parents always said, try to be a big fish in a small pond.
That works.
So rather than be in the big city, I did go to law school in White Plains, and I did interview down there, even New York City. My brother Donald actually set me up with an interview at Wilkie Farr and Gallagher in Manhattan in the City Corps building. But I didn't have the brains for that kind of work. I wasn't top 10% in my class. So, but I felt the small town might be better suited for me. And so coincidentally, my brother practiced many years with a lawyer, Tony Constantino, in West Winfield. And he had a very good friend, Charlie Sullivan, in Dolgeville. So Charlie's son was working with him at the time. And then when his mother passed in 1977, he branched differently, went out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and practiced law there, and still is there. Not practicing, however, but
Just enjoying life in golf, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of golf in Albuquerque.
I'm sure. More sunshine for sure than here. Although we've had a pretty nice run here for a while.
Yeah. It's going to end, I think.
It does. It does. We're going to see a first freeze tomorrow, I think.
I know, yeah.
Got to get those plans in.
Yep.
Yes.
Anyway, so, I mean, but as a child, was that something, because several others have mentioned, mock trial situations in school and things like that, or as being very young thinking about law. I find that kind of fascinating because I don't remember any kids in my school ever thinking they wanted to be lawyers. It was always something else,
Right.
Was that your case where you were thinking about that young, elementary school or middle school or?
I don't know if I really was thinking about it at that age, Dave.
Okay.
It may have been later than that.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So you got out of school, you started practicing. What area of expertise?
Well, the firm is a general practice firm. But Charlie Sullivan did emphasize in the area of estate planning and real estate. So that was what eventually I became, right, in those fields.
And this was in Dolgeville, right?
This was in Dolgeville, yes. Before Charlie Sullivan passed away, I was doing lots of other types of work. I was involved with the assigned counsel program. I was involved with Law Guardian. These are cases that are in family court or in criminal courts. And so you were appointed at an hourly rate to represent people who were indigent, right, that qualified. So I did a lot of that initially just to get my feet wet and to get experience. Because I was the new kid on the block. I was brand new to Dolgeville, and so everybody was watching, right? Yeah. So I didn't want to mess up. So I was, again, trying to learn, but also try to follow the rules if there were rules at that point. But so I did a lot of different areas of practice initially. And then when my partner passed away, he was on the Pacific Princess with Bernie Malone. Okay, Bernie traveled a lot, and Bernie and Charlie did travel, and in this case, to the Panama Canal. And sadly, Charlie had a cold before he left. He and I spoke about whether he should go. This was in February of 1990. And he thought that the weather would be better there, certainly, than Dolgeville. So he went. The cold progressed to the point of getting in his chest. Yeah. And he was given a cough suppressant that we think had codeine in it. He was allergic to that.
Oh, great. So
poor Bernie had to find him that morning. But that was a tough call that I received from the ship's physician that morning. So, but when he died, I had to make a decision because the practice was really involving two attorneys, right, with two different workloads. So I couldn't do it all. And so I gravitated toward that area of practice that Charlie Sullivan practiced and did some, but not a lot. Again, couldn't do it all. I talked about bringing somebody else into the firm. People in Rotary that I'm involved with had encouraged me to try to do it alone so that people would see me as running the show and not having someone else come in who could also stay and leave and become your competition.
Right.
So I chose to do it alone, and I practice more in those fields that Mr. Sullivan practiced, which is estate planning and real estate. So that has become and continues to be the bulk of my practice, certainly since Charlie Sullivan passed away.
How long have you been doing that? So since 1990, is what you're saying?
I moved here in October of 1981.
Okay.
I was actually going to attend initially when I came here the 25th wedding anniversary of Hector and Shirley Allen, who are my relatives. Hector is my first cousin, taught history here in Little Falls for many years. So we went to the DeCarlos.
I know that name.
You know that name.
Yep.
So that's really my only claim to fame as far as relatives locally, other than West Winfield. So, but I went to their 25th wedding anniversary, and sadly, I had some disappointing news that I didn't pass my bar exam. So I didn't know if I was going to lose my job, where that would take me. So I talked to Charlie Sullivan. He just was very encouraging. He said, go get him next time. I had taken a course. There were several bar review courses, and this one particularly prided themselves on the ability to predict essay questions, and they wanted you to memorize the answers to these so-called questions that were going to be on the exam. When I was at the Cardozo Law School in Manhattan to take that exam, I didn't see any of those questions.
Oh.
I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
So the second time around, I did pass, but I took a different course that just gave you a well-rounded study of the law, and so that was what I needed, and I did pass. But in life, we have setbacks, and that was my very first in the law setback. But I came back and recovered from it, and here we are.
Here you are.
40-some years later.
What's the most interesting aspect of either real estate or estate planning that you've dealt with over the years?
Most cases that I've been involved with, fortunately, are with family that are in agreement. There are those cases, however, where there are disagreements. And so we have to try to bring together families where there are factions and disagreements.
And that's on the estate side, right? Yeah.
Yes, long-standing. So you have to be a mediator. As Betsy had mentioned, you have to have that ability to kind of bring together, differing parties to try to find consensus and to get it done. So, but I've had many estates that I've worked on, most of them, once again, by agreement, some not so. And I actually had one will contest. Mr. Sullivan had said he had two in his 50 years of practice. Both, I guess, I think they were successful contestants, throwing them out where people had made wills on a deathbed, where there was clear concerns of mental capacity. Medications were dispensed, and so, but they're rare. You don't see a lot of will contests. But I had one, and we were successful. Judge Crandall had ruled in our favor, and actually it progressed. It didn't get any easier at that point. There were other issues the other side brought to bring it to the Supreme Court, actually, and Judge Charles Merrill was involved, a judge from Lowville who's since retired, and his spot is one of those that's open now. But it eventually ended up with Judge Merrill, and there was a question, not to belabor the point, but it was a legal question about banking law, and there was a two-signature requirement put in place by the other side with the decedent. So the decedent wasn't in full control of her funds. The other side of the family were one of the other signatures, and so she had done something contrary, or there were suspicions of abuse, right? Unfortunately, and so she had done some things that were contrary to what they wanted, and so they challenged that, and they brought to the Supreme Court the issue of the two-signature requirement, and that the bank varied or didn't follow that two-signature requirement, and permitted the decedent, right, to make decisions on her own with her power of attorney,
right,
to do things that the other family didn't agree with. But yes, those are rare cases, but most times we can get people to agree and to seek common ground and the big picture to get it done, get the work done, and the less costs involved, right?
What about real estate? Anything interesting there? Or is it just kind of...
Well, real estate can be somewhat mundane. I mean, I've had some interesting closings recently that are, fairly large in terms of dollars. But I just recently had a closing with some clients up in the town of Clayton, which is up in the Thousand Islands. So I haven't yet visited the property, but the clients are going to invite me to see their island that they purchased, Wintergreen Island, and there's like 5 homes on the island. So, but the waters have been a little rough on the weekends, so we haven't yet gotten to do that. But it was just fun, and every county is a little bit different. I mean, we're licensed to practice throughout the state, but there are varying policies with different counties along the way, and so you have to be mindful of that and check with the counties to make sure you're doing things properly, right?
Right.
But that was the exciting thing, and right now the same clients are looking at the Overlook Mansion, so that's under contract. So
okay, the same ones that bought the Wintergreen.
yes.
Oh, okay.
And they bought
Interesting.
the Daniel Green complex in Dolgeville, and these are going to be hopefully event centers at some
Newly
point.
acquired the Daniel Green Center, or
That's been about 8 years now that they acquired that. So
okay, all right.
there's a hydroelectric plant that one of
Yes.
the owners fell in love with.
Yes, I know.
And so it's still functioning.
And still making money.
It's still making money.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, but they've been interesting clients. They were clients of Dave Malone. Mm-hmm. Dave Malone, as you know, has
I know
retired.
who you're talking about now that you've said it. So
Yeah.
I've connected all the dots. Sorry.
Yes. So these are clients that I basically inherited through Dave's recommendation. So,
Okay.
but they're an interesting couple that I've had several unusual closings, to say the least.
And Dave Malone was an attorney here in Little Falls. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And his father was the one that traveled with my partner.
Oh,
at the
okay.
end,
Now I
so-
get the connection.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
There's always a connection up here. Everybody's connected to
God.
everybody. It drives me crazy because I'm not from here, but I hear that and it's like drawing that map. Okay, now I get it. Good Lord.
Same with me, but I have that connection that I mentioned. But other than that, none that I'm aware of, unless you go back far enough.
All right. So being a lawyer is one thing,
Yes.
right? You'd not done anything politically prior?
I have
this?
not. No.
So why now? What in the heck is wrong with you?
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you. I've practiced quietly, obviously, in my profession. And this has kind of thrust me into the limelight. And I have to credit my niece Betsy, who encouraged me to do this. So I went to the convention and expecting to nominate her, and it actually changed at that point to my being a placeholder, which is basically a candidate.
Right.
So
why do you say the word placeholder?
Well, they wanted to fill the slots. There are
Okay.
4 Democrats, there are 4 Republicans that are
So they had only
looking
had
for-
3 and they looked at you and said, hey,
correct.
can you do this? All right.
Correct.
So
that-
it wasn't like a conscious thing, like I'm going out there, I'm going to conquer the world, and I'm going to be the next Supreme Court justice.
Not at all. But
Okay, all right.
I'm getting into it. I've enjoyed the meet and greet. In fact, yesterday we had another one up in Onondaga County. This is a huge territory, as you can well imagine.
6 counties, right?
You've heard, yes.
Yes.
And so Onondaga is a big county, and there's talk that may become not part of the 5th Judicial District in the next couple of years. So, but right now it is. And so, but one of the interesting questions raised to me by the meet and greet yesterday was, what's the difference between a Republican versus a Democrat who's running for Supreme Court? And I had to think about that. And I said, well, we're all trained in the law. But I mean, I think going back to the days of George Washington, parties shouldn't be the only reason for a person's vote. The label of a party should not be the reason. It should be the individual.
So many people
so-
say that, and it's
but-
so not true.
Yeah.
You know what?
But
it's one of the biggest lies out there, I think, when people are running. Not from your side, I think from the side of the people that you talk to.
Correct.
Oh, I don't care about party. It's just about the person. And yeah, okay. Here, let me get the fiddle out.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you, Dave.
So you're a placeholder, but now you're getting into it.
Yes.
What has been the most unexpected thing? Because it is very different wearing a lawyer's hat and having clients and then putting yourself out there to run for office. It is not the same thing. What has been the most surprising thing to you about it?
Well, the oversight, obviously you have a board of elections and the reporting to the board of elections that needs to be maintained. I don't have I don't have a staff. I have my husband actually, who's my campaign manager.
Right.
So he actually is encouraging me to do this also. And he has experience up in the areas of Jefferson County, Oswego County.
Okay.
Taught up at South Jefferson. So he has experience in those areas and has brought that to bear to help me. But we went up to the Thousand Islands, to the Playhouse up there recently in Ganakwe, up near Kingston, Ontario.
Yeah.
And we drove through that area, basically, coming up on 12 out of Utica and going into Lewis County.
Right.
And then up into Jefferson County and Watertown. And I hadn't really been through those small towns that I recall. But this was an opportunity, and this was before I even thought about this, because the convention wasn't until August 14th, and this show of Mary Poppins at the Thousand Island Playhouse was before that. So, but yeah, there's the oversight of the Board of Elections, and then just getting out there, and that was never my expertise.
Right.
Obviously, people came to me, and you always worried, well, will there be enough people coming through the door that will keep this office going, right?
Yeah.
Will we be able to pay the bills?
Right.
So that was always a concern. But now, obviously, my future depends, in this case, on the voters. So I have to get out there and make myself more visible than I've been,
Right.
To other than clients. So I've found that to be interesting. As I said, that one question that came yesterday. But there's a lot going on. The Genesis Group is having a function. There are the women voters up in Watertown that are having a function. And I was screened by the Central New York Women's Bar Association. So that involved a lot of preparation of an application.
Right. I was kind of going towards you're sitting out there, the kind of questions you would get from somebody in an audience like that, they're totally different than sitting in your office doing a real estate transaction. Or,
True.
I was thinking about how does that feel? Because I know for me, the first time I got those questions and I realized, number one, I couldn't flippantly ask. I had to be more measured. Have you had that kind of thinking process when you're hearing those questions coming at you?
Yes.
Does it feel different?
Yes. And there's a lot of feelings out there that the politicians aren't the best creatures in the world. So,
true.
And so we have that to contend with. And what are we going to do to change that, right? And we're at the grassroots level in terms of the national picture, so there's only so much we can do.
Right.
But you're dealing with litigants that have everyday issues similar to what I've been dealing with in my practice, but have elevated, right, to like a contested divorce that I've always done uncontested, but they always seem to have twists and turns, and getting to that agreement or consent isn't always as easy as you would think. But so yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah. What kind of cases does the Supreme Court justice hear? Can it be anything, or do they have like a more standard kind of cases that they get?
Well, I talked to Judge Rose. Actually, we had a Red Mass this week up in Utica, and I chatted with Judge Rose. I hadn't really talked to him about his particular practice, and he just says they're overwhelming him with caseload. So there's cases that he has to get rid of. He just can't handle them all. So there's a need for more justices out there to take the flow. But I would assume that if I were elected, I would be housed here in Herkimer. I would assume that I would take cases to help Judge Rose at this point, and you could be moved. Obviously, you're within that 6-county region, so there's some.
Does the state decide where you end up?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
They do.
Does that mean you have to move, or because it could be a long drive with 6 counties, right?
Correct. You'd certainly have to stay overnight in some cases.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, but you have to go where the need is. There's a judge right now that's running for re-election, and he's handling all the Watertown cases, as I understand it. So, and that's where he lives. So I guess the court system does try to locate you close to where you live.
Okay.
So I wouldn't think.
So you could be in Herkimer and just maybe have to travel every once in a while. Okay.
Correct. And a lot of it's virtual. After COVID, a lot of things have been done virtual, and it's hard. I was talking to Judge Radel, who's a bankruptcy judge, and he was at the Red Mass, and so the informal or virtual appearances doesn't quite make it as far as the interaction between attorneys and judges, and so it's nice to have that in person touch. And so he's going to be taking cases down in the Albany area, and he said to me that he's going to be traveling to Albany and meeting face-to-face with attorneys on cases just to add that.
It's just better.
It's just better.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Every time you say Red Mass, Sounds like y'all went to church. Yeah. What is a red mass? Because I'm sitting here going, what's a red mass?
This was my first red mass, okay? And what it is, it's primarily, I guess, intended to initiate the court in Washington, the Supreme Court in Washington's term, which begins this month of October.
Right.
So, so that
So you get together and celebrate that.
It's a mass for attorneys, judges alike, basically to celebrate that opening of the court
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Never heard that before.
Yeah. So that's what I've learned it to be. And Pat Radel, Judge Radel, had talked about Sir Thomas More, who was a saint but was murdered for his faith. And there's a prayer. Obviously, he was an attorney, but it was a prayer.
People say attorneys for prayers? I mean, prayers for attorney? I got it backwards. It was in my head. They pray for attorneys? I've never heard that before.
We all need help.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we all recited the prayer of Sir Thomas More.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And my brother, actually, they're very devout Catholics, and he had a saint, St. Joseph Cupertino. And I didn't know him from Adam, but my brother put a statue in his memory at Siena College, where I went undergrad, and he as well. And it's a prayer to the saint to have the blessings of being asked questions on your examinations that you knew the answers to. Almost like cheating, right? But it's not.
No, not at all, because you prayed for it.
You prayed for it, exactly.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So, yeah.
Good stuff. Who knew attorneys could be funny?
Exactly.
What about, why, number one, why would people vote for you? And number two, where can they find more information about you?
Well, I don't have a website as my niece has. So David is my campaign manager. He's put out what you have in front of you and some palm cards.
This is pretty thin. Tell David to get off his butt and get to work here. Yeah.
I know. I can only speak, because I'm trying to run my office. Betsy has a huge responsibility as well.
She's got a lot of lawyers working for her.
65 lawyers, as you heard. So I try to surround myself with talent, because I'm not the brightest light bulb on the block. But I have worked hard, and I've accomplished, I think, hopefully to Mr. Sullivan's satisfaction, the handling of his office. Because some lawyers have gotten in trouble. Thankfully, I haven't gotten to the grievance committee and had problems like that that might force me out of practice. So I've been fortunate to toe the line, at least to avoid those kinds of issues, thank God. And the Women's Bar Association do look into that. I had to sign waivers so they could access those records. And I was found to be qualified for the office. So I guess my experience, having represented numerous clients over the 40-plus years, does have some bearing on my, hopefully, ability to become a Supreme Court judge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you came in.
And I want to be able to use my heart, right? We all want to be able to empathize with clients and litigants and to hopefully make the right decision. But we're the finders of the fact. If it's not us, it's a jury, right? So we have to make those findings and then bring those findings into the law and bring them together into a decision. It's not always easy. Yeah. I appreciate that. And there are some cases that have taken longer than some others. And sometimes justice delayed is justice denied. So we want to kind of get it done.
Right.
And hopefully get people to settle. I was talking to Anthony Brindisi, who was just recently appointed by the president as the successor to Judge Hurd, district court judge. And he was talking about his ability to bring litigants to a settlement, because all cases can't be tried. They have to be settled. There's just not enough time for any of us to take that road. So hopefully I'll be able to bring that to bear as well in my practice and potentially in the court system.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome, David.
All right. Awesome.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is Dave Warner with Small Town Life. We'll see you in the next one.